Hey guys, my name is Matimio, and today I have another episode of The Naked Gun. This is a series where I choose a weapon, I use absolutely no attachments, hence the Naked Gun title, and then I give my thoughts on the bare bone weapon and how it performs. You guys seem to be really enjoying this series, considering that I get a lot of messages that I should continue every week with it. I said I wasn't going to do it every week. I'm probably just going to do it every week now, since you guys seem to enjoy it so much. I have an absolute blast with this show as well, so I can't really complain. And since I ever started this series, everyone has been wanting me to try out the Famas. Probably because it sucks and everyone wants me to feel pain, or they're trying to troll me because this weapon really does suck. But joke's on you guys, I had an absolute blast trying to get some footage for you guys, and the footage that you guys are going to see here is 2 rounds, and both of them I get first place. I'm just going to show the highlights from it, but I do actually get first place with the Famas. I was absolutely floored with how well I did, and not to say that the weapon is good by any means, but I was able to use it effectively, I guess, and get into situations where I actually could win the fights and not just trying to snipe people from across the map. And I had a blast. I'll explain later why I had so fun, but really it was a lot of fun. So I remember when the Back to Karkin expansion pack first came out, everyone was using this weapon. It was that flavor of the month weapon. It had a high RPM, the recoil was manageable. I didn't really like it, but I know some people did. And you could snipe people from a fair distance and just dominate everyone with this gun. But since then, I've noticed that no one uses it, and I didn't realize why until I started playing it, because apparently they patched this thing and nerfed it into oblivion. They increased the recoil, I believe. I'm not exactly sure if that's correct, but I do know that they reduced the magazine size down to 26. I believe it was at 31 before the patch, and now it's down to 26. And 5 bullets doesn't seem like a lot, but when you are using the highest RPM weapon in the game, trust me, that is a lot of bullets. There was a lot of situations where if I had 5 extra bullets, the target would have died, but because I didn't, I died a very embarrassing death where I tried to reload. So since the patch, you have probably noticed that hardly anyone uses this weapon now, and in my opinion that is for good reason. You would have assumed that DICE would have nerfed it to the point where it was more in line with the other weapons. I think, and I'm assuming most people have because no one uses it anymore, they nerfed it too much and now it's almost useless. And you probably remember when trying to level up this weapon, the iron sights are abysmal. There was a lot of occasions where I would be going for a medium range target, you know, he's off in the distance a little bit. I would line up my shot, pull the trigger, and then the recoil would happen, the iron sights would happen, and then I would lose my target. I'd have no idea where they went. So I'd have to zoom back out, reassess where they were, and then zoom back in to try to take them out. That got me killed so often. It was probably one of the most frustrating aspects of the weapon. So not only is the iron sights on this thing god-awful, but the recoil is just unbelievable. It kicks like a mule, and you would assume that it would have a lot of recoil because it does have the highest RPM for the assault rifles, and probably one of the highest RPMs in the game if I remember right, and that would come with some sort of disadvantage for you. But it's so bad that trying to stay on target is a very, very challenging endeavor, and for the most part it's pretty much dumb luck if you're able to go full auto or, you know, burst fire someone down at medium range to stay on target. That's how bad the iron, or not the iron sights, but the recoil is on this gun. It kicks everywhere. It's extremely difficult to stay on target, and I found that it made for some very, very interesting gameplay. And if that wasn't enough, to top it all off, the Famas has one of the longest reload times out of any weapon in the game. If you go through all of your rounds in your magazine, it is going to take you a staggering 3.9 seconds to reload. That's almost 4 seconds that you're just standing there reloading, waiting to get back into the action. That is a very long time, and there was a lot of occasions where I'm just sitting back trying to get into a corner, hoping that no one turns the corner and just takes me out while I got my pants down. And you're going to have your pants down a lot when you're using this weapon because you're constantly reloading, and you're constantly taking 4 seconds out of your day just to reload this bad boy, and it's really bad. So now you're probably thinking that if this weapon is so terrible, then how in the world were you getting first place? And the first thing that might come to mind is that my allies are terrible, the enemies are terrible, and that automatically is just going to push me up to the top no matter what weapon I'm using. And that might be a small part of it, but what I think happened is that I used my brain and I moved around the map cautiously. I was not being all Rambo. There were occasions where I were, but I wasn't just running out in the open trying to just kill as many people as I could from range. What I was doing was I was trying to be a little stealthy. I was trying to get into engagements where I was up close and personal and I didn't have to aim down sight, or if I did have to aim down sight, I was close enough where I wouldn't lose the target. But for the most part, I was hip firing, because if I could hip fire, I wouldn't lose my target, and I knew that with the high RPM, the enemy was going to fall. So for the most part, that's what I was doing, and you're going to see in this video, if there is a target off in the distance, I won't even go for them. I'll probably spot them, but I won't even shoot at them, because if I know I go for the engagement and it's a gunfight, they're going to win 9 out of 10. I might get lucky on occasion, and I did get lucky sometimes, but for the most part, they would just wipe the floor with me and I would just move on and spawn. So what I would do is I would spot them, I would use objectives that are in front of me, try to flank them and take them out, and for the most part that was a very effective way at using this weapon, and it was a lot of fun. You're going to see on the Operation Metro clip, I used the minimap to my advantage every single time that I could. If I saw an enemy on the minimap, I would wait for them to round the corner. I usually wouldn't go out into, the open to try to take them out. I would let them come to me. I would jump down behind them and flank them. If I saw them on Grand Bazaar, I would flank them as well. I was doing everything that I could to first not use the iron sights, get up close and personal, to use the high rate of fire of the weapon and take advantage of that, and just abuse the weapon where it does excel and try to not use the aspects that are terrible about it. And essentially, that's what I would do to get first place on a couple of these matches. It did take some adjustment, but once I got used to it, it was an absolute blast. I wouldn't recommend this weapon on large maps. To be honest, I really wouldn't recommend this weapon on any map in general. It really is terrible. But if you're looking for a interesting experience, you want to try something new, try this. Try the Naked Gun Famas. It's an interesting experience. Don't get frustrated. It's very easy to get annoyed with this setup, but give it some time and you might actually enjoy yourself. So if I was going to improve upon this setup, I would slap on any scope, and I really mean any scope. I would also use the foregrip and the flash suppressor to reduce that recoil. Like I said earlier, the recoil, it just kicks all over the place, and if you can reduce that just a little bit, it's going to make your experience a lot more enjoyable. I really wouldn't go with the heavy barrel, because in my opinion you really shouldn't be going for longer shots. You should probably just be staying up close. So I think that the flash suppressor and the foregrip is a good complement to the Famas. But that's it for today's Naked Gun, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I know I had a lot of fun. I hope you guys did as well. If you enjoyed the video or you want to support my channel, I would appreciate it. Give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel for more videos. But until next time, guys, have a good one and take it easy.